Hi guys, hope everyone's well and welcome back to Improvement Podcast. Today I've got a very special guest, my girlfriend Bethany Shaw. So do you want to introduce yourself or will I introduce you?
I'll let you do it.
Sure. So Bethany's been my girlfriend for coming up 6 years, and we'd thought we'd make a podcast kind of talking about how to handle kind of relationships, specifically kind of relationships during prep, but if you've not got competitive aspirations and you're just running dieting phases, maybe taking your fitness journey a bit more seriously, this information will hopefully transfer across to yourself and hopefully serve you well and give you some value and hopefully be entertaining. So, now the introduction's out of the way, would you like to kind of talk about how I was as an individual when you first met me in comparison to now? Because obviously when we first met, I didn't really bodybuild to the same degree as I do now.
Yeah, but you've always, obviously you're 17, so it's completely different. But you've always been dedicated to something. You've always been pedal to the metal a bit. Do you know what I mean? You've always had something like that. So it's always sort of been like this. It's not like I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, but yeah, it's definitely more extreme now.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is when we kind of first met, obviously I didn't bodybuild the same. I had more flexibility. So it's been obviously a bit more of a gradual process. But
yeah.
I'm a bit of a different person. So when we
met, it's night and day.
When we met, I didn't originally kind of take bodybuilding as serious, or I didn't bodybuild. So she's kind of been there through the transition, if that makes sense. So when we first met, we had a bit more flexibility. I used to drink now and then, etc. Whereas now I'm a bit more kind of rigid, and she's been through that kind of transition. And would you like to start telling them about the first contest prep, how you found it?
To be honest, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't amazing. It actually was quite a struggle, but I don't know. Definitely learned more now this time around, but we did struggle, I think. I think I struggled more than you did.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. We've grown up a bit. I think I've grown up a bit more since then. I've got more routine and everything. But the first time around, I was just thinking, is this how it's going to be for months? It was quite scary, but I mean, it did, obviously it came to an end and everything, so it's not as bad, but.
And for people who don't actually know what a contest prep entails, how was it a struggle? What changed? How did you find it? Why? What was difficult about it?
Well,
make sure you speak up as well.
In a normal week, we'd maybe go out for food twice. We'd go and do stuff and that, and we're a bit more relaxed about times we can go to bed and everything. Just routines completely different. And then when you're in prep, you're so thrown in it. You obviously, your food is really strict, so we can't have any meals out. We can't if we do go out, if we do go to Edinburgh, we do still do stuff like that. But it's so much more. There's a lot more thought that goes into it. I think it's not just do you want to go through Edinburgh tonight and we'll get a meal and we'll go go to mini golf or something. We can't do that anymore. So that was that. I think that was a big thing. Not being able to have that social going out aspect as much. And even things say my family get together a decent bit, but you're sort of withdrawn a little bit from that now. So that was obviously a change, but yeah.
Yeah, for those, just to expand, for those that don't know, a contest prep, so when you're preparing for a bodybuilding show and obviously you can be flexible, but it's a time where if you want to do well, you need a bit more restriction. So you're not really eating out as much. You're not you're being religious with your sleep wake time. You're wanting your meals at the same time. You're consumed doing cardio, steps, things like that. And there's a few things change. You tend to be a bit more kind of irritable, and just sometimes not quite as good a mood. For no reason. Oh, it's for a reason you're dieting, but it's not
you're just you're not in a really good mood all the time. Like your mood's just sort of static.
Yeah.
Seems like.
So you're a bit flat. You've got a bit less energy about you, and as a result, like sometimes that can have like a negative effect on your relationship because you like I'll go see Bethany, and then maybe like I've just not got the energy about me, and it's like I'm in a mood, if that makes sense, when I'm not. You're just a bit flat, and also like your like kind of libido drops as well. So it's like obviously that's gonna have a big impact on your relationship. So it's quite a lot of things to kind of tackle, and like I said, like you lose that bit of connection because you're not doing as much social. You've not got as much you can kind of do together, and it's obviously hard in the contest, Brett, but it's also hard for the partner involved because like your relationship's changing, and so that's something like massive. And in terms of like what tips would you give, or do you want me to start in terms of what I do is like the person dieting to handle a relationship well and kind of maintain it? And do you want me to start, or do you want to start and give some advice?
You can start if you want.
Sure. So I think in terms of like how to handle, like if you're in a dieting phase or if you are in a contest prep and you've got a partner, like in terms of what you can do is like communicate first of all. So if I like go into a contest prep, let's say your partner knows absolutely nothing about bodybuilding, I'm being quiet, I'm not talking as much, I'm not got as much libido or sex drive, and I'm not really wanting to do as much, and you don't communicate that, then they just think like
Yeah, like you're just
not interested or like can't be bothered.
You can't take it personally.
Yeah, because I mind the first like aggressive diet I'd done when I started with my coach AJ, I was we were at the log cabin, and this was like the back end of my diet, and I lost on like 30 pounds in 6 weeks, and like I was just feeling a bit trashed, and I was like really quiet. I didn't even know why myself in a way, and then like you thought obviously something was up, and I was just being really off, and you didn't know why, and I was like I'm fine, but like you need to communicate like to your partner what you're going to be like in terms of having low energy, low mood, and maybe lack of sex drive sometimes, things like that. And just like how it's not personal, and I think when you are feeling that way, communicating it, because if I just come round and then I'm just not talking a lot, or if I'm a bit moody or that or irritable and I don't communicate that, that's not going to go well. Whereas if I come over and be like, right, Bethany, I'm feeling really tired today, if I'm, let's say, being quiet, this is why, then it manages the expectations and it lets them know like why you being like that. So it's so she's aware, and I think that's something massively important. Would you agree?
Yeah, but it's not even. I wouldn't even say that it's something like you can have a conversation before about and it's all okay, because it's. I think you just have to go through it in a way.
Yeah.
Like I think this time it's been so much better. I don't even think it's that we've prepared for it differently. I just think I know what's gonna happen, and I know it's not that you hate me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you're just in prep and you're obviously like just fucking chattered all the time, but yeah, you just need to. Like not take it personally, because it's such a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like your relationship is the most personal thing ever, but yeah,
That's
I'm not doing it because you don't like me.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's what you actually thought, like, at the end of my first mini cut when I did lose aggressive. Like, you thought, like, I was just in a mood or, like, something was up or that.
But then I would ask you more, and then you would get more annoyed because I kept asking you, and it did seem like you just weren't telling me something at all. But now, obviously, looking back, you can see you were just shattered.
So I think as well as communication, something, like, super important is, like, making an effort. Like, although you need to kind of plan things in a bit more, as you kind of touched on earlier. Like, and just because I'm in a contest prep doesn't mean that I can use that as an excuse to be a bad partner. Like, for example, we might not be able to kind of go out for meals the same, and kind of do different things like go on holiday, etc. But we'll kind of chat about some things we have, you think, put in place to kind of help it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've throughout the earlier stages of prep, like what we've done is just so like we're actually doing activities together, and I'm not just in my own box, ticking my boxes and not actually spending time with Bethany, my partner. Like we like had like steak dinners together. So yes, I can't go out and I can't go for a Chinese or go out for a meal, but like what we done was like we went and like instead of my oats for my last meal, I went out and we basically like made a steak dinner, and I tracked everything to the absolute T, weighed everything to the gram, kept my salt the same, kept everything the same, and like just having like that meal together, I think was massive because it's something that we're actually doing together as
Yeah.
like as a couple. And the thing is, like my first prep, I would have never have done that because I thought that's cheating on my diet or wrong or that. But like now, when we've done that, like I felt so mentally kind of fresh and ready to kind of attack the next few days because from a stress standpoint, like it helped a ton, and that's massive because if let's say stress is massive and it will impact your progress like a ton in terms of your ability to sleep, recover from training, and just your overall mood and how smoothly the prep will go. So if you can have like a low stress environment and part of that's not arguing with your partner all the time, then doing things like, you know what I mean, having a meal that's tracked, that's not going to deviate or impact my progress, then that's only going to kind of serve as a positive at the end of the day. And again, give me a mental break as well. And like it's actually had like a positive impact on prep instead of a negative impact at like 100%. Would you agree?
Yeah. It doesn't feel so like strict, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I think we had a meal on my birthday.
That's
Was
right.
it? Yeah. Was it my birthday?
I'm pretty
And
sure we had the
something
same.
like that. But it was just nice because it was special, and like obviously to everyone a steak dinner at home isn't special, but for us it was like we're not going to get to do this again for a while. So, and it wasn't even just like having the food; it was more just like having a nice time together.
Yeah, just
and
doing something together because
Yeah.
you don't really get the chance to kind of do as much and share as much experiences. So I think that's something massive. So like when you're in prep, like still making effort, like there's no excuse. And I think as you touched on earlier, you need to be a bit more diligent with like planning these things in. You can't just go about prep and just think your relationship's going to be good. It takes effort to maintain, and I think that's massive. And like other things as well, like planning in like going for a coffee or a day out in Edinburgh, or something as simple as like having a nice movie night or doing nice things for each other, like maybe making like I made you some food a few times I believe throughout this prep, like although I didn't eat it, and like
Yeah.
just
Oh, me.
no, although
Oh, I
I
thought you
didn't
said
eat it.
me.
Aye, well you do that sometimes as well, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, so things like that, and like me going through to like before my first prep, I would like think, oh, I can't go to Edinburgh. I need to be in my routine. I need to be home eating at X time. But like, bring your meals with you. And like, I boxed off my steps. I felt so mentally refreshed. I got like a good mental break from, you know what I mean, client work and just thinking about like bodybuilding all the time. And we had like such a nice time when we've like done things like that. And again, it hits my steps. It gets expenditure in. So just because like you are in prep doesn't mean you need to live in a box. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not out past my bedtime still. I'm not out like, you know what I mean, drinking pints or crap like that. But like there's no reason why you can't take your meals with you and do those sort of things together. Would you agree?
Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say. No, I was going to say something, but I forgot.
Oh, you're right. Well,
but no, it is nice, and I feel like seeing your first prep, I think you had like a lot of anxiety around stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like neither of us realised that at the time, but this time you know what the process is like, and you know for a fact that that's not going to harm it.
Yeah.
It's going to help it. So, yeah.
And I think when you get in your fitness journey, like, if most people probably don't need to hear that advice because they're probably not that strict and routine. Like, I think when you get in your fitness journey, you're relaxed, and then like when you start bodybuilding, you're like, right, I must eat at like 6 on the dot. I must like not do anything and just bodybuild. And then you think, right, what's actually having a meal that's the exact same calories going to impact my progress? It's not. And then you learn to have flexibility, but that doesn't mean being less consistent or less disciplined or any less of a bodybuilder than if, let's say, someone's just sitting at home eating their meals out of a container, you know what I mean? Because I think you can have that flexibility, and it doesn't take away from your progress, but I think you need to go through the period of being that strict and then learn to have flexibility beforehand, because I think most folk probably don't need to hear that advice, and they need to be more consistent before worrying about having that flexibility, if that makes sense. And what else do you think we've put in place to kind of make an effort to maintain a relationship that you think's helped?
You know what, like, it sounds bad, but I think just not, like, reading into the little things as much. Like that, in like a normal relationship, like for us at play prep, I don't think that's a good idea, but in prep, yeah, because all these little things aren't actually anything, in a way.
Yeah,
That's good advice for me, but...
like if I'm feeling tired, I'm quiet, like not thinking too deep about it. It's like, oh, it's just because he's tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree. And what I was going to say, I had another thought that came into my head. Yeah, so in terms of like what else we do to like make an effort, like I don't know if I've said this before, but like when sometimes like I'll come over and I'm like absolutely exhausted, but it's like you need to almost put it on, if that makes sense. Like same with like my personal training, like it doesn't matter if how I feel. I've still got things important like maintaining a relationship, like my personal training. So it doesn't matter how trashed I feel when I come over and see you or you see me. Like I still need to kind of bring energy to the relationship. If that makes sense. So although I might not be in the mood for it, like I kind of like need to kind of force myself to joke about or force myself to like have good energy about me. If that
I think
makes sense.
it's still important to like know you can have off days and everything. Like it doesn't always have to be about like what's space for us and what's space for you, and you know what I mean. Sometimes you can just really relax. Like I'm so bad for that. If I'm in a bad mood, like I'm just like non-verbal and I don't want to do anything. I just want to watch like Breaking Bad or something. But you don't make me feel guilty for that. So why would I make you feel guilty?
Yeah, exactly. And I think obviously that is fine, but at the same time, you're like that for months, literally. So you can't just use that as a crutch all the time. Like I still need to kind of bring that energy into the relationship side of thing. And do you think there's anything else we can cover in terms of like how the actual person dieting can maintain relationship, or should we kind of move on to the next subject?
Do you know what? I think just like remembering like little small things.
Yeah.
Is so big in prep. Like before, like you would obviously make like bigger gestures and stuff like that, but now it's more important if like just little wee silly things, like if you fill up my water and everything like that, like it means more because you don't get that anymore. You don't get that sort of side of a relationship as much. But
I get you. Like you've kind of got to like make up ground for what you're not doing in terms of a normal relationship. You know what I mean? Like I think, and I've got almost, I know like you don't expect it, but I've almost got like a sense of guilt because I know how tough it can be and how much of like a ask it is to go through prep. So I think, right, I've got to pull my weight here. So like coming around and I'm like, right, can I cook you something? Can I make you this? Can I do that? I'm not always perfect and I'm not always amazing at it, but like just, you know what I mean, pulling your weight in a relationship and like giving your partner an equal support that they need and just doing nice wee gestures, like asking about your day, you know what I mean, like offering you, I don't know, you know what I mean, a massage or like run you a bath, just wee things like that, I'm sure.
Because obviously it's like, I'm not prepping, I'm not starving, I'm literally fine, I feel fine in myself. But, like, all the other, like, effects that prep, all the other stuff that prep brings in, I've sort of you've got to put up with that even though you don't want to, and it's not your choice.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting everything good out of it, you're like winning the competitions, you're getting all attraction towards your business, everything like that. Which is like genuinely amazing and it's so nice seeing. It's really, really nice seeing like the fruits of your labour and everything. But you, up until that point, you're just sort of put into this and it's not your decision, which is pretty crappy, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
I get you. And I think that's even more reason to try and like give back in that. And what you can also do is like if you know if you're prepping or that, or you've got a diet, like plan something in after, like. Because yes, like maybe sucks you've got like a long time to like deal with this, but we've got like holidays and things to look forward to after. And again, like we planned days out and that, so it's just a case of being diligent with planning and also like you know what I mean, giving back to like after prep because we've got like. I
also think prep isn't a good time to break up.
Yeah,
does that make sense? Because like this is just not who you are. It's not
Yeah.
what the relationship is. Like, I feel like if you're gonna break, if you go through it the first time and you're like, do you know what, this really isn't for me, I don't think I can go through this more, which I have thought, like I've been like,
Yeah.
I can't go through this every second year, like I just can't do it. But you should never make that decision when you're in it. Like, we've never been on a break because of it or anything, but we've had conversations where I'm like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah.
But when you're out, it's different because it's completely back to normal and it's
Yeah, I know.
fine.
Yeah, and something to realise is like that's not you forever, because you can
Yeah.
you can forget like what I'm actually like as a person because how long it is.
Yeah.
But like
Literally.
it doesn't last forever, and it will go back to normal, and you will be fine after and have more energy about you, laugh, you know what I mean, do more together.
Mhm.
So I think remembering that and keeping that like in the forefront of your mind's like important, like it's not permanent.
Yeah.
And I
It's like,
think
isn't you, in a way.
and I think if you have went through like dieting phases or you have struggles with like your relationship, like things like that, it does get better over time. Like this prep's been so, I don't know what you feel, but I think it's been so much better than the first.
I know.
I think you're in a better spot just in your
Mhm.
life, and as well as that,
I am
like
so much busier now this time, so I've not got time to like. I don't put as much pressure on you
yeah,
now.
you don't rely on me as much.
Yeah.
You're a bit more independent, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making her to be a wee bit needy, which she kind of is. But yeah, and like the more you go through it, the better you get at handling it, and I think that's important. So like remembering that, because like you like knowing we were going into this prep, you were dreading it, but
Oh, it was awful.
but now see if I tell you right, I'm gonna prep again 3 years time. You probably won't. You probably won't be buzzing for it, but you're
Yeah.
probably dreading it less. Am I right in saying that?
I don't know.
No.
Like,
Come on,
like,
camera's on.
no, but obviously it's different now because right now we've got a few weeks to go.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, and I'm like having a holiday at the end of it, so I'm not
Yeah,
too
but you know
fussed.
what I mean.
But no, if you say to me, I'm going to do this not next year, but the year after, I'd be like, for fuck's sake. Like,
Yeah,
I
because it's
can't
a
be
long
bothered
time.
with it.
But I feel like your perception of prep changed. Like obviously it's still probably a bit rubbish, but
It's still
it's less rubbish.
Like, I still at first think it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it's not as bad as you think it'll be.
Yeah, I think that like
When you know the flow of it, it's fine.
yeah, exactly. Because like especially because this prep was a bit longer and like you thought it would be pretty horrific. And yeah, it's not been, you know what I mean, it's still not.
It's not been without hiccup, but
It's not optimal for yourself. You kind of get your Don Poyos or
Mhm.
Chinese's with me or whatever else you want
but
to
I
kind of
just
eat.
do that like with other people. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Or just have it with me there.
Yeah. There's some stuff I can't do with
yeah.
other people. They're missing out on what food is fine.
And I think something else is like, if you're the person dieting, you've chose to do this. So like, if Bethany wants to sit and eat something, like she can eat that. If she wants to go and do something at the weekend, she can do that. It's like, you've chose to put yourself in this box. You've chose yourself to be restrictive. So like, don't get angry at your partner or friends or that for eating certain foods or wanting to do certain things, because like it's your choice at the end of the day, and like it's a privilege. Like I get to eat 5 meals a day. I get to train in a luxury gym. I get to like do something that not a lot of people can do. Not a lot of people can afford a gym membership, whereas I can afford to travel to shows, stay in hotels. Like it's a blessing and it's a privilege, and you've got to kind of remember that as well, because like the world's not out against you, and you've chose to do this, so you've got to remember that and not let it be an excuse for you to be grumpy and irritable or that. And I think remembering that, like, every day, like, I get to prep, I get to diet, I get to go on my steps, I get to do my cardio, I get to buy supplements that aren't cheap, like, things like that. Like, I think that goes a long way, and having that mindset, it's not only going to help your relationship, but I think that's going to make a smoother and, like, more productive prep or dieting phase, because if you're really negative and just in a stressed headspace and getting frustrated all the time, that stress is going to take away from your training. It's going to take away from your sleep quality as well. And now that we've talked about how negative I am, should we talk about like how a partner can kind of support someone on prep?
Yeah. There's obviously like you both need to. It's not just you supporting me or me supporting you. It has to be such a like 2-way street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're really good for with me. you're really good for like sometimes I feel like because you're in prep and you're sort of shattered all the time, you don't have much energy, like, I sort of have to make up a little bit more. But if I'm ever having like a down day, you'd never make me feel guilty for that.
Yeah.
Which I think is so helpful.
It's decent with like your grandpa on a bad day, because it's like, yes, it's not just me.
That's such
No, you know what I mean though. Like it's like, right.
I know
Like,
what you mean. I know what you mean.
Aye, it's like if like you're irritable sometimes, and I'm irritable sometimes, so it's not all me that's irritable, I guess.
Yeah. You're also really good for like if say like I'm with my friends and we're meant to be seeing each other and I'll go do something with them instead, like you don't make me feel guilty for it because I think sort of need that a little bit more now than to do it outside of prep.
Yeah.
Like if we were meant to be going out for dinner that night and I was with my pals and I was like, I'm actually going to go out tonight, do you mind if I just see you tomorrow? Like it's completely different, but now it's like
You can't do it with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's you're a bit more not that I like ditch you or anything, but if I need that from other people, then that's fine. You're not going to make me feel bad about that.
Right. Well, you didn't actually answer the question.
What was the question?
I was like, how can you support, like, how can a partner support someone who's in a diet or in prep?
Oh, I think...
What do you think? Do you want to start or will I?
I'll start.
Sure.
I think, see, with you, just saying, I'm proud of you helps.
Yeah.
And, like, acknowledging it as well, that it is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you're choosing to do this and everything, no one's got a gun up to your head, but it's still a difficult thing to do, and just keeping that in mind with everything and, like, offering to do things like it, stuff like that. Like, what you would do in a normal relationship, pretty much, like any other time, but yeah, I think just, like, words of affirmation.
Yeah. And I think, like, on my end, like, communicating what I'd like from you, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
just be upfront.
Yeah, like, throughout this prep, I've not, like, said you need to do X and that, like, prep my meals, stuff like that.
No.
But, like, I'll tell her, like, try not to talk to me about food, because the more, like, I can dissociate myself from thinking about food, the easier it is.
Mm.
And things like making sure, just, like, when I'm feeling a bit tired, communicating that, it's just so you're aware, and so you're, like, easy on me, if that makes sense. You're not giving me...
Or, like, not stressing you out. Like, at your shows, I would not tell you anything that was going on.
Aye, and, like, again, not that this isn't something you need to do, but, like, with my show, obviously I've competed once so far, but, like, that show, the run-up, she done my tan, she helped me kind of prepare for everything, she drove me to the venue, she was running backwards and forwards for me, and I've got another show, and literally, it was a week yesterday, 2 weeks yesterday, so 13 days out now, and, like, she's booked tickets to fly down.
Which I'm so scared for.
She's booked a plane flight to fly down after her shift herself to help me do my tan in the morning. Like, she didn't have to do that, and that's not an expectation, but, like, that's like that means the world. So, like, you shouldn't need to do things like that, but, like, the wee things that you do, like, just, again, not talking to me about food, coming a walk with me as well, like.
Yeah, I hate doing that though.
Yeah, no, you always feel better for it.
I always feel better for it, but you always ask me when I'm, like, cozy and I'm, like, in bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But, like, trying to, like, you know what I mean, you can still do things together like that, and, like, grab a coffee and make things easier in that regard. And have you got any other kind of ways you can kind of support someone dieting, or you feel like you've supported me at all?
I think, I don't know.
I think you've also, like, gave me confidence as well. Like, said you can do it. Not like I've never doubt, and I'll never doubt my ability to execute.
You don't doubt yourself, but you also sell yourself short.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean.
Like, I don't doubt my ability to stay consistent. Like, if my coach tells me to eat dirt for a week, I'll do it. But, like, doubting, like, just a lack of confidence in terms of how I can place, and I think you've helped with that and gave me, like, that bit of confidence, which I think's helped as well. And what do you think's the hardest part of it?
No,
You what?
If you know, you know, I guess.
Yeah, you can say it.
I don't know. I feel weird saying that.
You want me to?
I don't know. I don't know how I want to say it.
You want me to?
Okay.
They're just like the little man's not quite functioning the same at the back end. Yeah, so like your libido drops, like your sex drive isn't there. Like when you're getting really lean, like your body's main priority is not, you know, reproducing or that. Like, and you're wanting to kind of preserve your energy. So like when you're at the end of prep, like your testosterone drops, like you're hormonally not in a good spot, and obviously that's going to have like a knock-on effect on your relationship, and that's like a massive part of your relationship. And again, like you need to kind of make up for that lack of affection through having other practices in place. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That
Just
sounds so good though.
no, I mean like, you know what I mean? Just like, you know what I mean? Still like being intimate in other ways, I think, super important. And I know it sounds cringy and like probably embarrassing for you to.
I know. I feel like a little kid.
Yeah, it's probably embarrassing like for yourself. I'm not that fussed about it. Like obviously, like I care, but what I mean is I'm not fussed about talking about it.
Yeah.
But I think this is really important to talk about because
it doesn't get spoken about.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like people watching this, if they're going through it, like they'll need to know this. This is the kind of advice that would be good to hear.
And like the first time around after it, I thought that was so not normal.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, like what's happening here? And I thought it was like an actual issue with us.
Yeah.
And I got really upset over it and that, but now I'm like, well, it'll be fine.
Yeah, because your partner could, you need to communicate that, because your partner could think, oh, he just doesn't love me or not attracted to me, whereas it is just because you are dieting aggressively, or if you are in prep, you are, you know what I mean, your hormones might not be in that good a spot then, so communicating like that's why is super important, because if, let's say, you just stop doing it with your partner all of a sudden, you don't communicate why, then what do you expect them to think, if that makes sense? I
feel like that's just like a good thing to... I think that's something you need to talk about anyway as well, because that can stop for any reason. Like,
yeah,
if you get ill, if like you have like a big bereavement or something, you're not gonna want to. You don't want to go at it after that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always something that's not just unique to like this situation.
Yeah. So I think managing expectations, to summarize, pretty much like going into like a prep or a diet. Like again, you might not know if you'll feel any symptoms during a diet. But if you are getting lean or leaner than you've ever been, or dieting super aggressively, you might. So managing and setting these expectations with a partner, and then telling them, right, this is what might happen, or this is what's currently happening, this is why, I think is massive.
Do you think anyone at the shows like is still having sex? Do you know what I mean?
I've heard folk I was listening to a podcast and this guy was like 2 weeks out. And this is someone...
Oh my god.
Matt Ogus. He's like famous YouTuber. Anyone watching might know him, but like that's what I'm saying. Like the more you go through preps, the easier it gets. Like
that's like impressive.
Yeah, I know. I was buzzing. Like I was like, that's class for him. Like, but like, and again, like the more like last prep, I felt so much worse than I did now, and I'm much leaner because you handle the prep better. You get experience. You have a smoother starting point. You give yourself more time. So just because like one prep or one diet was a certain way doesn't mean they're all going to be that bad. Like they can be better. And have you got any tips to cope with diet and prep being a partner in the relationship? Or do you think we kind of covered it throughout?
I say we covered it, but yeah, just like don't read into it that much. I don't think that's good relationship advice for like every single situation. You know, someone's treating you bad, like obviously don't read into it. But in this instance, it really does help to just chill out a bit. You know what I mean? Well, not chill out, but
yeah, it's not a deep.
Yeah, you're not down because of me. You're not down because of anything else. You're down because you're barely eating any food. Yeah. Well, you're obviously still eating a lot of food, but like for you and for your expenditures. Really? Yeah.
And I think something else is like, just because I'm not able to live my life in some areas, you could say, like, doesn't mean you can't. Like, you've been on you're about to go on holiday. You've been on another holiday.
I've got 6 this year.
Yeah, she's been on 6, you know what I mean? She's going on 6 holidays. So just because I'm not doing things like that, doesn't mean you can. And
yeah. Well, like I did offer you to go on 2.
Yeah, I know.
And there was one earlier on in the year, and you were like, no, I'm not going to do it. And, I think you were fine after I went as well.
Yeah.
Which
I was happy for you. You should be.
Yeah.
So, like, just because you're prepping doesn't mean your partner can't do things like that, and or diet in any way. Yeah, so, like, make sure, like, being the partner in the situation, like, don't feel like you can't do things, live your life on their end. Yeah. And, right.
Don't feel guilty about it.
We've kind of answered some of the questions throughout, but how grumpy am I? That was one of the questions we got.
Oh, you were so much more grumpy last time.
Was I?
Yeah, you were so grumpy last time. This time you're not as grumpy. I think you're more aware of it, but you're definitely still grumpy. But you're just there's no way you're just a grumpy person. So there's that.
And I think being aware, like, why, like, because you are a bit more irritable than usual, and it's normal. But having the awareness of when you're irritable, and kind of not like just, you know what I mean, just not being irritable, just like not being grumpy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even when you are like that, just think, right, this is why I'm feeling like this, and like not using it as an excuse pretty much. Because you could use like low energy, like low mood, and all these things are an excuse to like be a bad partner, but like it's your choice at the end of the day, so you still need to kind of show up in the relationship, in my opinion. So, not too grumpy, or
I wouldn't say you're as grumpy as you have been.
Yeah,
but you're still grumpy.
Aye, but I'm not like, I'm a bit like in a bad mood, but I'm not like nasty.
No, you know, you don't like sit there and call me a bitch. You'll just be like, can you not pick this up? Like, why have you not done that? But like, that's the what really the extent.
On your end, what I say as well is like, I've just got less tolerance for you because you love winding me up.
Oh, I genuinely love it. I love winding anyone up, but you especially. Like, I take great joy in it.
So I know
I can't do that.
Yeah, so I just have less tolerance for it. So partly it's on your end.
Yeah.
And next question: have you ever cheated? Answer is no on both ends. I hope. Right, well, no on my end because my ability to is not even there now anyway. So it's not like I've got much choice in that.
Cheated on each other.
No. And
I feel like that was so out of nowhere, that question.
I know, I don't know who asked that, but no, we have not. And someone also, is there anything else you want to cover or talk about throughout the episode? Or do you think would be valuable for listeners going through kind of a dieting phase, prep? That would help.
Oh, do you know what else is like a thing? I think, like, trying to sort of plan for the future as well. It's so that it you have to take it into consideration. Like, ideally, we wouldn't want you to move out this year. It does not happen for other reasons. It's not just prep, but like that can happen this year. And it's probably not going to be like a few months after as well. And like just other things, like even if we have to like plan to have like kids or something, we sort of have to plan that around when you're competing too. Obviously that's not going to be for a while, but
I don't know. Yeah, and as well as that, like, I think that's something I'll probably make a podcast on this. I might get another guest on, like, talking about when's the right time to prep or when's the right time to kind of diet and making sure like your life's in line with it. Like if we were gonna move out this year,
we would have been bothered.
Yeah, like obviously life's never going to be quiet, and there's never the right time. Like, my work's been absolutely chaotic this year, which I think's helped, but at the same time, like, you want to make sure you've got a good time to diet or a good time to kind of prep in place. Because if, let's say, you're trying to juggle all these hats and then, like, do your cardio, do your steps, do your check-in, go to shows, and, like, prep's expensive as well. So, not to kind of change the subject, but, like, you need to make sure it's the right time. And is there anything else you'd like to cover, or Saz?
I don't know. Anything you can think of?
Not really. I've got one final question. I don't think someone asked, like, how should they go about working out throughout the menstrual period? So, Bethany's...
I don't work out and I don't get a period.
Yeah.
So I'm not the best person to ask. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was going to take this one, hence why I was speaking about it. But yeah, so basically, like, obviously this isn't... She probably... she probably asked you because she thought maybe, you train a bit more than you did.
I'm just not the person. I'll take that as a compliment, but I'm really not the person to ask about that.
But basically, like, what I'd say is, like, listen to your body. I'm pretty sure, like, studies and literature shows that there's not much difference to performance. However, like, if you've got, like, extreme discomfort or that when you're doing certain movements in the gym, then you can obviously work around it. Like, you could maybe take that period to deload to drop fatigue. You could maybe do, let's say, like, skip lower body or skip movements that are big compound movements, and just basically work around it, do what you can during that period, literally. So yeah, that's probably like my best tip, is just, again, do what you can, listen to your body, but I don't think there's much of like a negative effect on performance.
No,
per se, from what
I'd say there is. Just like in general life, never mind the gym.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how much of that is psychological and how much of that is due to like the discomfort?
Not a lot. Like, you're in a lot of pain.
Yeah, but no, I'm not saying it's not painful, but what I'm saying is research, from what I've heard, indicates that when you are in that like time of the month, there's not much difference to your ability to actually perform in terms of like output in the gym. But obviously, like, you will go through discomfort, things like that, so listen to your body, work around it on a like as needed basis, that sort of thing there. And yeah, if you've not got anything else you want to cover, then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Sure. So right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Thanks.
If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it on your story, and give me a tag. Same with Bethany.
No.
Nah, you don't need a tag right to wanna. But yeah, greatly appreciate anyone's support, and hopefully I'll be bringing out more in-person podcasts, because I quite enjoyed it, and it's a bit easier to. Obviously, it's because I'm close to it, but it's a bit easier to get like a good conversation going when you're in person.
We don't have to like
talk through a screen.
Small conversations.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and hope you enjoy.